Hello, friends of technical analysis. I'm Giuliano. I'm here to share with you these crypto price charts. We're going to take a look at a whole bunch of names and we'll look at the long-term time frames. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, stick around. I'm going to share the screen. We'll take a look at these price charts and, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit that like button and, of course, make some comments. If you have any requests, we'll definitely take requests. This week, I'm going to look at ADA, Theta, ICX, TRAC, DERO, LTC, BNB. We'll look at DOT, FTM, SOL, AVAX, MATIC, and Luna. We're going to look at the longer term timeframes, namely weekly price charts. But this is the first video of the year of this nature. And so we might even look at some of the monthly timeframes. So without any further delay, let's get right into it. Here to share with you the ADA BTC price chart first. Let's get right in. Well, I've got a bit of a messy chart here from previous time. I'm not going to look too much back there. We're going to look mainly here at 2021 and beyond. So here's 2021. It was definitely an up year. It involved an up and now a bigger down. We're going to check to see, are these the same degree? Is this move the same degree, the up move and the down move? All right. But mainly, it was quite a year for the ADA price chart. So let's bring in some of these drawings and see what we've got. We've got a long-term retracement level. We've got a comparison of the time level. And we've added Bollinger Bands and we've added Ichimoku Cloud. So what's going on here? Well, generally, we're going to just keep this price chart here in the line form just to see it easily. ADA price chart moving down significantly compared to the previous move up, finally breaking a lower low than we had before on a significant degree. And that's a big move overall for the year of 2021. Now moving into 2022, we've broken out of this channel, so we can get rid of that. We're showing some resistance at this previous resistance level. We're within the Ichimoku Cloud. Okay, when we're definitely fighting to see, are we going up or down? If you look at this chart, it definitely feels like it's in the middle. Could go up towards this Bollinger, the Bollinger Band level here, the 20 period moving average. Could go down further below the Ichimoku Cloud and find its support levels potentially here. Before then rebounding again, wherever it'll go. So that's the kind of idea we're looking at with the ADA price chart, and we'll have to look more closely on daily levels to see what it might be doing, but in the shorter term. But yeah, longer term here, we're in a big, it looks like we're in a bigger wave of downtrend. Okay, so there's still also, there's time to go here with these indicators. Nothing really is showing itself currently. Now, if we want to look at retracement levels, let's do that. I'm going to just hide the volume here. Biggest volume was at the beginning of the move, and then it declined, interestingly. Let's hide the volume. Bollinger Band went from the bottom of the band narrowing, okay, breaching the top, breaching the top, breaching the top, and now making our way down towards the bottom of the band. Okay, hasn't quite gotten there yet, but it's definitely making its way down there. Before that, it was just one time reacting off the 20-week moving average. All right, that's Bollinger Band. 200 moving average is all the way down here. Okay, interesting. And Ichimoku Cloud, as we're seeing here, fighting within it. So we'll see up or down in this intermediate time frame here. As far as retracements go, we had a roughly 61.8% retracement. So that's still a strong retracement for the overall degree. It's on the cusp of trending. Okay. So here we see, you know, maybe it'll stay trending. Let's see. So what else does that mean? It means let's look at the time. We went from 2020, you know, 2021 here, the bottom to the top. Okay, so to compare that, we are nearing a 0.618 relationship. So maybe there will be some sort of price turning around here. This is around the end of January timeframe, which is a significant time frame on the Bitcoin price chart as well. So this is 61.8% of that move. And if we are trending, then why not have a 61.8% turnaround? Even if we're not trending, there is still the opportunity to turn around and find your resistance before making your move to wherever you need to go, okay? Or whenever you need to get there. This is, you know, whatever needs to happen. You know, maybe this is the kind of action that it takes, okay? Whatever. So that's the thoughts for ADA. I hope that's interesting to you. This is 1-to-1 ratio right here. 0.618 is here. And this 1-to-1 is around end of April. And the 161.8 is around end of September. So, and to double it would take us all the way to the end of 2022. If we were going to have a correction that lasted twice as long as this big, considerably impulse movement. All right, so there you have it. I think the correction will be twice as long if this impulse movement is complete and we're not going higher based on this single degree yet. If this impulse move and then the correction are ready to keep going, then I think it'll turn around sooner. Okay, so there you have some ADA considerations. Let's move on. I'm going to, oh, I see what we did. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, now, getting out of this, let's move over to the Theta price chart. So Theta looking interesting, a little bit different. It'll be cool because all of these charts have either run up and are now in some sort of intermediate position of their correction, or they have run up, we'll see later with some of those hot names. You'll see they've run up and they're in a precarious scenario here, a potential danger zone in terms of topping. And then there are other charts, we might look at one, maybe two, that are at quite lows. Okay. So Theta looks like on the MACD, it looks like it could turn around any week now. How big of a turnaround will it be? I'm not sure, but I get the sense based on this channeling, we might get to like the midway point, or we might, based on this Ichimoku cloud here, we might get here around this 14,000 Satoshi, 15,000 Satoshis level, which is this previous kind of sideways corrective action. So that's a potential there for the Theta price chart, I think. Best with the MACD looking like it can turn around there. So we're also at the bottom of that Bollinger Band zone here, roughly. So, you know, tested it once here, bounced off of it and came back down. Now we're either going to do one of these where it tested it here, bounced off, and then dumped further. But it looks like a turnaround is more likely for Theta at this level. Also, we were turning around the lower end of this channeling that was previously, you know, enacted. And so, yeah, looks pretty good. And having said that, I think we are eventually due for the potential fifth wave here, if that's what we're dealing with. We'll see though, this itself might be the fifth wave and we could be in our whole big correction here. Either way, if we look at some timing, we can see roughly from the bottom of this move to the potential top of this move. And we are again nearing this 61.8 around the, this here is more so in February timeframe. end of February. And then here we have this August timeframe for the 1-to-1, and then the May of 2023 for the 161.8. So that's for Theta and its potential movements. So yeah, that's looking good. Interesting. Let's watch it stick around in this channel and bouncing higher. Maybe towards this 15,000 Satoshis level at this Ichimoku cloud, and hey, maybe even beyond. Let's see. Cool. Stick around for more on the Theta price charts in the coming weeks. Next, I keep not looking at the saved version, so I hope I'm catching everything here. ICX, I did a bit of an extension here because what we've got going potentially on the weekly, it's hard to say, but it's one of those ones which is more on the lower end. ICX, the 2021 was more of a sideways chop year. It had up, it had down, it had up and down. It's about midway from, well, we're going to get a bit of noise here, but it's about midway. Yeah, it's at about the 61.8 currently. But anyway, yeah, it is getting some just barely higher lows. Okay, but we also had a bit of lower highs on the closing basis. And so it's a bit of a narrowing action, as we see when we do enable this activity here. We've got a downtrending resistance. And mainly if we want to pull it from over here, that's fine too. We've got something here. Either way, the main thing for the ICX chart is to hold this higher low. Otherwise, you know, coming down to this 2000 Satoshis level is very much possible. So I think there's a good chance that it will hold this uptrending support line. Now, in that case, on a monthly is where I got this, the real narrowing. It's like on the monthly, you really have, again, this sense of narrowing here. Okay, so in that case, there's a good potential at least to get back up to this 20 period average, okay, maybe beyond. All right, so we're gonna see what does ICX do with one of these. And in that case, if there is any type of breakout of this narrowing, I'm guessing, let's call it some sort of, that's maybe here, here, or here, depending where it's breaking. If you count it from where it breaks out, 1-to-1 is around 7,000 to 8,000 Satoshis. If you're counting from where it begins, maybe it's down here, maybe it's only to 7,000 Satoshi, but you get that general zone, okay? So there's a potential if ICX goes on a run. Otherwise, the first target would be here, which is top of this box, which we can extend, which is around the 5,000 or 5,300 Satoshis level. All right, that's ICX. Otherwise, yeah, again, like that 2,000 level on the supports. Interesting. Now here's the real question. Is it possible that this goes lower? Yes, and how much lower? Wow, that'll be an interesting year, but I don't think that's the case. We'll see though, yeah. You know, market could go in either direction, and there are many circumstances why it would, but either way, we are severely narrowing this weekly Bollinger Bands. Okay, I'm just going to hide this for 1 second. We are severely narrowing these weekly Bollinger Bands. We're just on the bottom of it, but it's been chopping around. So I don't, and it came from way up down to the bottomish region of the Bollinger Bands, did its bounce, came back down, bottom Bollinger Band region. Now we're narrowing. It's like, what's the likelihood of going down and really like impulsing down versus impulsing up? I think the likelihood is impulsing up. So in that case, wow, there could be fireworks on the ICX price chart. Okay, now this is monthly time frame. So when we bring it back to the weekly, we do see some resistance with the Ichimoku cloud here coming up, basically where this these 2 points relate to each other. But if we don't want to pull from there, if we just want to pull from here, you know, we've got already it was fighting with the cloud. So maybe the next time it's a bit more narrow and it'll have its chance to get through. We'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to see ICX make its movements in the year of 2022. This was the 2021 right here. So we are going to first unhide the rectangle. Anyway, okay, so that's that. And I think, yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that for now. That's ICX. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check through a whole bunch of charts. We've looked at these throughout the year. Well, I haven't done this for the whole year of 2021, but we've been increasingly looking at other charts through 2021. And I think we're gonna continue this one about once a week for 2022. I like looking at long-term timeframes, and it's, yeah, it's fun. So let's take a look at TRAC. And of course, again, if you have any requests, throw them in the throw them in the comments and we'll take a look. I'd love to. Okay. Now, TRAC has a bunch of noise as well. We watched this one quite intently when it was pumping. I'm going to drop off this volume. I'm going to focus on a couple things. Okay, let's focus on a couple things. We have this channel that was formed here, the orange channel. It was formed around here, and we got it basically used as support most recently. 2021 was a great year for TRAC as well, Origin Trail, from the lows down at, what was that, like 400 Satoshis, roughly 500 Satoshis, let's call it, to all the way up to like 4,000 Satoshis on a closing basis. It's a nice 8x. I mean, 5,000, so you get a good 10x if you got out of that at the wick area. But even just for the price itself, right, for the composite operator itself, what an intense move. So there you have it. Currently sitting at 50% on close to close, about 61.8%. Got a good bounce, a little bit lower, and now just below the 50, but it is getting rejected there. So see a bit of sideways action for what am I calling this, for TRAC. ICX still. Not looking forward to more verbal errors, but anyway, looks like it needs a bit of red momentum. Otherwise we're going to get a pump up in green. Okay, that's possible here. But in terms of this channel here, I think at least the price will come into this channel here, this pink red channel. I think that the price will come into, and that's formed from the impulse move, the first like 1-2 wave of this recent impulse move. And I do wonder if we are in a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and going to get into a 5 first before we get our red, or maybe we get a bit of red and then go into some green, but it's smaller, lower, yeah, like shorter, lower, and we start making some bearish divergence. We're going to see some bearish divergence later on some of those hot names. So I'm interested to show that. So here we go. We made it to the top of the Bollinger Band on the weekly, and the 20 period average is currently right here around 1,900 to 2,000 Satoshis. So it's going to move up, and I do think the price will come to meet it and bounce off of it, and then we're going to see. So where does it meet? I'm going to guess, let's see if it does something like this, and we'll see if the price comes back down and meets it, which would be roughly around the middle of the channel. Otherwise, maybe towards the lower end of this upsloping channel, the pink one. So let's look for those targets to hit during this year. That will be, again, in the end of January, towards February, into March, potentially. And that's when it's in between this zone here with the, with these horizontal lines. Okay, And then we've got this Ichimoku cloud coming here. So is the price going to get above and support there, or is it going to eventually dump down lower and come into this lower, thicker, wider channel, and also below the Ichimoku cloud? The Ichimoku cloud is Ichimoku cloud is here vertical, and so yeah, looking like the price could eventually cut through that and maybe find support at these significant levels here. Otherwise, maybe this will be significant enough support. It can find, I'm guessing there's a good chance it could find its next low, confirmation low, and then continue to the upside of that Ichimoku cloud. Okay. All right. So that's that for the TRAC chart. Okay. Good. Next, we've 4 down, a bunch to go. DERO BTC chart we've been watching quite intently, and wow, what to say here other than we really like narrow Bollinger Bands, hit the top, bounced off the 20 period average. This is 2021 here, folks, right here from the friends. Right down here is the lows of the lows, the loady lows. What a move by DERO this year. Currently sitting at about 61.8 retracement, bounced off of it, and then rejected at the 38.2 as resistance, and now sitting around that 50%, but probably dumping down below, and we'll test a potential path for that. That's pretty cool. It made, if you want to just play that game, roughly it went up how many percent here? I can't even see them, like 2,500%. Okay, riding up the top of that Bollinger Band, finally, you know, there was another time it tested the 20-week moving average, finally broke below it, and now, you know, what it started forming is this channel. Now, what I'm guessing here is we haven't quite reached this Ichimoku cloud starting to form here, but I'm guessing it will eventually cut through it. I was wondering if maybe this would be the end, but you know, in the Elliott wave formation, or not even this be the end, like something like this be the end. But the only way that the ending of this down move would be around here, okay, which was like around this level, is if then the price would continue higher above this Ichimoku cloud setting up over here. Okay, otherwise, I'm guessing something like a move that brings us to this zone here. Okay, and it would involve the channel. So maybe you know, Ichimoku cloud is resistance and it's over here or something. But bottom line is, the reason being, because we can call some form of A, B, C pattern. Okay, we can call some form of ABC pattern here. And I'll just cut into it with the line chart. Okay, and I'll remove the well, just want to say about the Bollinger Band, we reached the bottom of the Bollinger Band here, okay, went up to try and test the 20-week moving average, a bit too weak this time. And, you know, maybe it'll get to it again as the 20-week turns over and the price can meet it again. But what I'm seeing here potentially, because this C wave has ended on this channeling action when we use these wicks, basically, we're getting an ABC that ends around here. And according to the Neely method, if the C wave ends at the channel, touching the channel, you know, upper end or lower end, that won't be the end of the movement. It will be a more complex correction, maybe a non-standard correction, I should say. So if this is indeed an ABC right here, then yeah, we're going to be seeing more action, and it has to end somewhere in the channel or out of the channel to the lower or upper end or the middle, but it won't end on the channel itself on one of the upper or lower extremities. And so that's why I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is a potential path here where it hits the lower end. It's the top of this type of region zone here. It'll get a bounce there. It might be well, here's the thing though. At this point, you're going to be breaching this lower end of the Bollinger Band. So maybe not, maybe it won't, maybe it's going to find its second bounce here and make its move up and away. Okay, back to the other side, maybe there, and then you get yourself above the Ichimoku cloud. Okay, that there's definitely a chance for that, but I would say currently this is a bit of a better feeling in my opinion. So there you have it. That's the potential for DERO. You would have an ABC and then an X wave and then the next ABC ending here. All right. That would be the idea. I hope that makes sense for you. Yeah, and it looks like we still have, oops, come on. Looks like we still have some time left here in this clearing out of the MACD. So we'll see though. Oh. Okay. All right, thank you. So that's the DERO BTC price chart. Now, let's look at LTC long term. We have the reason I like LTC, we have long-term data. And what do we see on this long-term LTC data? Definitely see a downtrend. When we look at it not in log scale, there is a clear downtrending resistance, which we're really reaching towards it. I mean, yeah, the price could significant either just like keep following it this way forever, sure, or dump or whatever. But really, look at this Ichimoku cloud. Like this is potential for Litecoin to at least to hit the Ichimoku cloud at a 0.05. But there's a potential for at least something like this, where back in 2017 it was able to make a significant move up. I'm going to show you the Bollinger Band confluences with that, and yeah. But anyway, so does the fact that that we are at this downtrending resistance here. So what are we going to say? Not only that, I mean, like, look at this RSI and the price going down, the RSI going up. I mean, how is that not divergence? How is this not? We're going to have to look at it in log scale, but even this is divergence here, bullish divergence here. It's got to be, let's take a look. Okay, when we take a log scale for the Litecoin chart, the trend line is not the same because it's in a different position. So we don't play with that same trend line. Okay, fair enough, no problem. But we look like we are at the lower end, like we've had time at the trend line, come down way below it, move back up towards the trend line, come down way below it. What happens after you go down? Usually you go up. So the other thing I'd like to mention is on the monthly time frame, we get Bollinger Band action. It's been at the bottom of the Bollinger Band here, shot right up to the top after being at the top of the band, down to the bottom, shot up to the top. Nice support, nice resistance, nice support. Okay, played at the top, back down to the bottom. We're now at the bottom and it's starting to narrow. So that's an interesting potential. That's all I got to say. We're at a point where the price will move somewhere. And look how this downtrending resistance plays nicely into this Ichimoku cloud resistance. I mean, why not? Why not just let a price get up here? It finds this previous kind of neckline kind of area here, previous resistances, like we go like this, right? And you're right there, you're right at all this price level here. Yeah, why not? Let's see a potential 200% move on Litecoin. Why not? I don't see why not. That's against BTC. by the way. These are all BTC price charts. That's why it's a bit different than the USD price charts, but it's more fun this way for me. Okay, so that's Litecoin, something to pay attention to through 2022. 2021 was really just sideways and down. There was a bit of up, but right into that Ichimoku resistance. Sideways and down. All right. Playing at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. Touch the Bollinger Band. I think we're sideways now. I think the next move is to try and go up. So there you go. At least there's something to consider on Litecoin, LTC, BTC. All right. Finally, towards the bottom here, we have BNB, the beast, Binance against BTC here in the price chart. And because we also have a lot of data on this, on the weekly time frame, I did a bit of time analysis. I looked at the very low to the next significant low. If we were to draw a trend line through time, we'd find this low. And what I also did was took from this recent low to the recent high, and did a time analysis there. So before we look at that, I would like to say, so what I did was the low to the low, and then from this low to this high, and we're gonna see. Interestingly, sorry, I might have done the low to the high and compared that to this low to see where this low ends. Actually, that's probably what I did, and I'm pretty sure it's interesting. So we're gonna go and do that first, okay? Let me re-enable these now. First things first, let's hide this. Let's hide this. Oh, I did 3. That's why I did the whole thing. So I did do the beginning to end here. Let's hide this. Okay, what do we have here? We have that opening of the widening of the waves here, breaching the top, but getting on a weekly time frame. I mean, this candle is not your friend at the top of the Bollinger Band here. Especially you were at the top, made it to the bottom, went back to the top. Well, you know, it's not the end of the world. You could still find your support maybe at the 20-week moving average and go higher. But yeah, this candle setup here, not a super ideal. But at least you have this kind of horizontal level here that confluences with the Ichimoku cloud for support, and which would still give you higher lows than those lows. So that's good overall. But the other, well, at least you're not having some sort of divergence just yet in that sense too. So Binance not looking too bad overall, although it's going to need maybe a bit more time to consolidate. We'll see though. What we're going to do is say, okay, I think at least there's going to be coming back to this 20-period moving average. And as well, a strong likelihood of coming back down to this like 008 level with the Ichimoku cloud zone. We'll pay attention to it, stick around for more on that. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We are also looking at, if we get rid of the averages here, where is Binance 2021? So here's 2021. What a move for Binance. Like in terms of low to high, Binance is probably one of, there are a few others, which is around the highs of its year compared to its lows. What a move by Binance, BNB. It's like 1,000%. Well done, roughly. And currently, if we retrace, if we retrace, we are talking roughly, like we're obviously around the 1, but we bounced between the 382 and the 0.5. That's a good move. So that's all I have to say about BNB. There's not really a lot to say. It's hard to tell how much of a correction it'll be. So the only thing we can do, let's say, is look potentially at, not the only thing, one thing we can do is look at some trend-based fib times. So we'll look at this one first. Which one's this? This one is the, okay, good. It's the whole thing. It's from the beginning, the low to the low, okay? And so the first related grouping is here, and a 618 is all the way in 2023. So I'm not sure what kind of price action that would be, and then a 1-to-1 would be all the way here. My thought is this current move is just a small part. Similarly, I don't think it's fully made that whole thing. So anyway, that's just something to consider. Maybe by July of 2024, BNB will be making its next significant low. I guess is the consideration. How about that? That would be pretty cool. Come back in 2024 July. We won't know then if it is the low, but we'll know maybe after that. Cool. I hope I'm still around making some price chart videos, technical analysis, and of course, improving skills and all that good stuff. All right, so that's one consideration on time. The next ratio here, we can look at this one is just from low to high, okay? We are now at the 2x. So we have spent 2 times as much going sideways as we have going from low to high. The 2618 is coming up in the end of February of 2022, and 3 times as much is coming up in April. Now, why is that significant? Well, according to Elliott Wave, for 2 waves to be of the same degree or similar to each other, related to each other, like for example, this move up and the move sideways or down, whatever we want to call it. So in other words, the correction and the impulsion. So, oh, I messed that up. The impulsion and the correction, my bad. So the impulsion and the correction are similar if they are at least, the least that they can be is 1/3, like the smaller wave. It can't be less than 1/3 the size of the bigger wave. So if the impulsion takes longer and the correction is shorter, and then we keep going, and this is especially true for impulsion. So we're wondering, like, are we still in an impulse here? Or are we finishing this whole move here? And in which case, we want to just see, like, if one of these waves is less than 1/3 compared to the other, meaning one of the waves is more than 3 times, so it goes beyond this 3 level, it goes beyond this 3 zone, then the 2 waves are potentially not related, especially if they're also less than 1/3 of a difference in price. So meaning if we were to retrace this, if it doesn't go more than 33% down, then that's also potentially not related. But in this case, it does go more than that down. So even if it goes longer than the 3 over here, maybe it'll still be part of the same degree, similar wave, and can be counted together. But we don't know yet. So bottom line, here we are from the bottom to the top of this move in 2021. And we are roughly around 2 times that move. In 2618 is end of February, 3 times is in April. One consideration here though is what kind of move was this altogether? And is it some sort of impulse with like a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 that failed? I don't know, but I don't think so, because if the 5 failed and if it was one of those kinds of moves, then the retracement to the downside would be strong and hard, and it would take less time to break below this 5th wave beginning. It'll take less time than it took to form. But anyway, so yeah, that's why. But the candle itself is not a friendly candle. It's like it couldn't even reach it wicked at the highs. I don't know. We'll see though. I think that what Binance has going for it is that it's just such a strong market, such a strong composite operator, able to sustain price moves. But then again, we'll see what this ends up looking like. So I think that's it for Binance, other than there was one more trend-based fib, and that was from this bottom to this top. How does it compare with the top to the bottom? Well, it was 1-to-1, but that's for the big move. So is this move part of the big move, or this is the one and now you're going to get to the next one? No, impossible. We're already at 2. So we have a ways to go. I guess that's what I'm saying. And I look forward to bringing more of that to you. So let's move on from Binance. Now we're finally in the second column, where we have all these names, which I haven't really taken a look at too much, but I would like to point out a few things. So let's first take a look at .BTC. Currently sitting at the 0006495. Now, something to consider here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this, load the chart layout. I'm going to load the .BTC. Okay, so something to consider here is we are in an uptrend. We are at the lower end of the uptrend, smashing up against this 20-week moving average, starting to narrow. And we had previously made higher highs. So what does this mean? I think we could be in a big triangle, A, B, C, D, E, and then out. So that's a out to the upside. That's potential for DOT against BTC. I think of the big names, DOT has a good chance this year of making some movements. Yeah, I would say this chart looks, in my opinion, for now, better than the Seoul chart, Luna chart, FTM, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe those have a couple, have some wind left in them. But at least DOT here, bottom of the Bollinger Band, top of the Bollinger Band, bottom of the Bollinger Band. Only concern now is reaching up against the 20-week moving average on the underside, and potentially finding that as resistance. If that's the case, then it's a bit more concerning. But even then, let's say it gets resisted here, comes back a little bit down, retracement, whatever, and then goes. That's fine, of course. So that's the possibility. I see DOT looking pretty good. So stick around for more DOT going through 2022. All right, that's it for DOT for now. I'm gonna save that one. Next, let's look at FTM. A lot of people talk about FTM. So what do we see? We see a huge run up in 2021. I didn't do that for DOT, but we were just looking at it. You can rewind and take a look for yourself. So okay, let's just catch up here. In 2021, we started back here, and currently we are all the way up here. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring these down for a second. Just a bit of lag here. Just give it 1 second. But if you notice here, we're starting to deal with some potential potential divergences that are concerning, to say the least, on this FDM chart. So what do I see? Okay, how can we, when they go up so big, it's not always your friend. Okay, so here's 2021 beginning. Like, that's a massive move. We're talking some reason I'm getting some lag here. You're just gonna have to bear with me for a second. Okay. So yeah, that's like a 6,700% move. Like, that's wild. Huge. Okay, now the concern is pushing up against the Bollinger Band, comes back down, keeps pushing up, impulsing up, top of the Bollinger Band. You know, we had one nice support off of the 20-week moving average, but it's so extended right now. Now, one thing I want to notice is we had this low here in, oh, this is just bothering me now. Is it not bothering you? Like, come on, what's going on here? I'm just gonna get this going properly. Let me just do this. Let me do this. Just gonna keep this going. Stick with me. Maybe you want to just skip ahead. Maybe you're watching in the 1.5 or 1.75x speed. Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, yeah, I hope this is enjoyable for you. I hope you're getting some ideas, learning something. Stick around, definitely stick around if you're listening to this right now. Otherwise, maybe you've skipped ahead. Hopefully you've skipped ahead, because, oh snap, right? We're gonna have to reload. And I had a feeling that's what was happening. And I have a feeling that this is what I would have to do, which is log in and sign up again. So let me just do that real quick for you. There we go. And now we're ready to go. So yes, perfect. Okay. Back into it. Sorry for that delay. Let's run right into FTM. Perfect. Okay, now we're good to go. Sorry, friends. Okay, so what was I saying? I was talking about the divergence, because look, we had run up like pretty real good, all right? Even if this thing comes down, it could still find its supports, but, or maybe it just needs to come down and find some sort of support again. But, you know, okay, originally there was this low here and this low here, which led to this trend line here. And if you look, oh, come on. If you look, that's just my mouse. If you look here, we had this move in the MACD on the weekly, on the histogram. So we had lower MACD histogram, okay? And here we had a higher price. So that is a hidden bullish divergence, all right? And it worked in the favor as we got this next big pump up. But now concerningly, okay, we take this away. I also want to show it was also working with it potentially on their RSI, but what I now want to show is, well, we got this island here of red. We are potentially working, now it's currently happening, but we're potentially working on a bearish divergence because we have the higher island of histogram here, and we're currently working on a lower island. That higher island of histogram here relates to this lower high, the previous high, all-time high, which is now a lower high than the current high. And that leads to this uptrending resistance, whereas we have this downtrending let me just do that again. Yeah, we have this downtrending MACD potentially. So, and we have it on the RSI as well. So if the RSI does not go higher than it previously was, we are going to be seeing some, like if we get a turnaround here and the RSI starts turning around and the MACD starts turning around, we are in for probably these levels right here, which is around the, it was like 3,000 Satoshis. And that interestingly relates to these price levels here. Okay, the previous support resistance levels, resistance, support, support, Ichimoku cloud, dump. That's possible. It looks a bit like that Cardano move too, you know. But anyway, that's another story. I mean, if we start doing things like channeling, which I'm sure we'll do in these coming weeks, we have a lot of time. These charts take a while to play out, okay? But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a potential for it to come down to the channel. Whatever, we'll see. We shall see. The other option is that it just, oops. Let's redo that. The other option is that it just, the price just, you know, finds some leveling. Does the bearishness is not so big. Maybe the price just falls back to these levels or somewhere in here and keeps going based on a daily or daily turnaround or something like that. But anyway, I think the bias for me is to come back down to these levels. I mean, it's just at this point, unless the other option is it just keeps going so much higher that you make a bigger histogram, you make a bigger, you go higher on the RSI, or you know what, even if you're making this bearish divergence, but you could still keep going higher first before you come down. But yeah, I'm not sure. You got 3 strong candles here. You were pushing up against the Bollinger Band on the weekly, impulsing there down to the 20-week moving average, pushing the top. Yeah, I think you could go further. I think you can go further for sure, but then you're going to make your correction. And I think going further higher is part of the continued building of bearish divergence. I do think that's what's going to end up happening, but I could be wrong, right? Obviously, the market could push it higher. The market could push it higher and keep it bullish overall. Well, we'll see. But I do believe in a real sense, I do believe we are in a 5th wave if we are looking at it in that sense, because potentially, okay, this is not guaranteed or anything, but you know, some charts, they seem to give it nicely and other charts against Bitcoin don't seem to give it so nicely. But I definitely see a form of like a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 here. Either that or we are just in the 3 still. 1, 2, and we're still in the 3. It's an extended and subdivided 3 that gets us here. And then maybe we have a 4 and the 5 goes wherever it goes. I don't know. That's also a possibility. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to get into that too much because that's just rampant speculation and we want to minimize rampancy around here. I don't have a license for rampancy. Okay. So that's FTM. We'll keep watching that one. Next, I would like to take a look at Seoul. It's next on the list. It is also, Seoul is also potentially, now this one is, you know, 2021, similar Binance just from the lows to the highs and just hanging around those previous highs. We're talking, you know, like 7,000% move. And wow, just like look at the ferocity of this trend. It's incredible. However, we are reaching a significant portion of this move. All right, there's either going to be bouncing to the upside or down. We impulsed along the top of the Bollinger Band. We touched the 20-week moving average once. We're now back at the 20-week moving average with the bands narrowing. I think there's a chance we'll see continued correction and then the move higher if that's where it's going. Otherwise, okay, it's going to touch this area and boom, it's gone again. It's ready for the final push. Maybe develop some bearish divergence on the MACD and on the RSI, and you know that's definitely a possibility, if you know what I mean. We'll see. 2022 is going to be an interesting year for us all, no doubt. And you know, at this point on this chart, it's so close, so close. I can't help but think that there's more upside potential on this chart. So I would say the bias is to the upside, but unfortunately, it might just be distributing right now. There's also the chance that it's just distributing, and what we actually see here is yeah, actually, no, it's just, I think that there's definitely a chance for it to continue going higher. That's all I'm going to say. All right, that's it for that Seoul chart. And then, well, if you want a potential target, like what are we working with here? We're working with, let's say, this wave here, roughly. 28.6, and then maybe take this one and extend it. So maybe another double. Let's say conservatively another 75 to 100% or so potential. Yeah, we'll see. Might need, but again, yeah, like here's the thing: is if it is going on a break of this trend line here, then we can start using our time tool. Let's pop it here and say we're nearing that 61.8 again, which is, you know, mid-Feb. The 1-to-1 is around the end of May of 2022 from this bottom to top. If we take the top more so here, which it likely could be, because here's the thing, there is higher closing around here, so we could do that, in which case the 61.8 is more around the end of March. Okay, and the 1-to-1 is around July. So something to consider. That, oh wait, sorry, that's not true. You would want to come around here. 61.8 is May of 2022, and the 1-to-1 is around September of 2022. If we're measuring the low to the high and keeping the highs around this cluster here, which made some closing higher highs, but barely. Anyway, either way, it's roughly around that type of idea. Okay, but I think the main thing is that's you know, this is close. In the next week or two, we're going to know what's happening here, and I do have a feeling we're going to break below this trend line. I mean, based on the MACD and all that, I get the sense it's there. But hey, if we look on lower time frames, we might see otherwise. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's watch. Let's watch as this works its way through. Okay, so that's the Seoul chart. Let's get out of the Seoul chart. We have 3 remaining. Let's go to the AVAX Avalanche. Yes, BTC. Nearly done. Avalanche is another one showing some bearish divergence potentially on the RSI. Also not a huge fan of how the candles are closing. It might just be in an intermediate correction or going into an intermediate correction. But I am seeing some type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. And so the next thing from that would probably be a dump. Maybe only to here, maybe down further. Not so sure. But if we follow this 20-week moving average, maybe it'll hit the 20-week moving average and then go higher. That's possible because maybe ultimately what I do think is happening is a 1, 2, a 3, whatever is going to be the 4, and then the 5. Okay. That is also a good possibility here. But having said that, there is this bearish divergence seems to be building. So just keep an eye out on that for Avalanche. Avalanche for 2021, again, for 2021 started all the way down here and is at its tops. So that was a nice 2,000% over the year. So that's interesting. The other thing to consider is just like Solana. So it was pushing up against, here, wait a second. Pushing up against top of the Bollinger Bands, top of the Bollinger Band, top of the Bollinger Band. So, and then this potentially final candle here with this wick, I don't know. It might just be a sideways candle. It might bounce and go higher now. It is definitely a chance. It could run now, no doubt. Okay. But it's so close to this trend line right now. At any given at any given moment here, it's going to break below it, and then you're breaking this trend. So yeah, it could still break below it and then even go higher, make higher highs, but hit up against the underside of that trend and then go down. But start making this bigger correction. But watch it because it could come down below this trend line and then we're in trouble in terms of the price, finding a bigger correction. So that's just the idea here. Solana and Avalanche, we're going to find out very soon if they're going to break those trend lines. So let's keep watching that. That's interesting. And having said that, we've got this longer term trend line here in blue, which we also showed in a channel. And, oh, there's another channel. Ah, yes. I don't know what that came from, so I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, so we have this channel here, reach to the top of that channel too. Like, I think that's significant as well. I know there's a closing price here. So of course it's all, what you want, it's a bit of an art and a science type thing, but if we use the closing prices, it's not uncanny that, yeah, hey, maybe we are going to reach a little bit higher and reach to the top of this and then fall out of it. There's a good chance there, but either way, like we are reaching up towards the top of this range. And so the next idea would be a break below the range, maybe even all the way down to the bottom of this range here, further down and further into the year, into June or something like that. Here's the Ichimoku cloud, so maybe it'll find this support here. Who knows? But these are some ideas that are possible. The other option, like I just said, is to continue squeezing higher, but maybe it only has a bit more juice to squeeze before. So like I do get a sense that we have a correction coming in AVAX, however you want to call it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Next, two more. One is MATIC. I think MATIC has, oh, on the 30-minute chart, come on, what happened here? Let's go into load chart layout. Did I not save a MATIC chart? Oh, yes, I did. Perfect, thank you. Bearish divergence on MATIC. That's what I wanted to show. Weekly bearish divergence on MATIC is building. Now, if the price goes higher, continues higher, and the RSI gets higher levels than previously in May, and the MACD gets higher levels than previously in May, then we've broken that potential divergence. But until then, we're potentially building a bearish divergence. Yes, the price could still go higher first before making its correction, but the whole time we'll be creating that divergence. So right now is definitely not, for me, is not a time to get in. We want to wait for a bigger correction if you want to get in. And in terms of bigger corrections, that's a nice looking double topping with a little bit of a higher high here. Maybe that's a fifth wave. And we're moving into a bigger correction. Let's see. But what do we have going for it? Okay. The price has this channel. When we use the wicks and the candles, it lines up. It had a nice support over here, so it does have some significance. Maybe the price is going to come back towards here, again, towards the channel. And it also has the Fibonacci, it has the Ichimoku cloud up here as support. So I do get a sense we could find ourselves down here at some point with MATIC. And this is the 3,500 Satoshis level, roughly. Okay, so that's something to think about for MATIC. The other idea, though, is first going up higher before going lower. Yes, possible. But overall, we are pushing it for real. And yeah, just keep an eye out on it. I don't know how much longer this one has before it resolves into a bigger correction. And then watch with me, okay? That's it for MATIC. I don't have much else to say other than 2021 was another huge year for this one too. It's all the way at the tops of where it, you know, basically from the bottom. And for us, that's about almost 10,000%. It's about 9,000, 9,500%. That's quite wild. Let's just, don't want to give anything away here. Let's like be conservative there, and that's only 6,000%. So let me see something here. So maybe 9,000 was a little harsh. So let's call it 7,000. Yeah, 7 or 8,000%. So that's quite wild. All right. So there you have it. That's the MATIC price. Yeah, that's it for now. Next and last but not least, we're going to look at the Luna BTC, another one of those just rock roaring price charts. This one is getting above the channel. But having said that, how's it going to close? It is potentially making some hidden or even some clear bearish divergence here, but it's not. Who knows if that's going to play out or not. The RSI just needs to pop up higher a little bit, and it will not be playing any type of bearish divergence. The MACD is already not showing that. It's showing continuation in that sense. Price pushing up against the Bollinger Band, top of the channel. Yeah, not exactly sure what to say about this one other than it's been going hard and strong for the whole year. Again, this is another one back in January, a good 8,000% or so. And yeah, if this is the case, you know, we are probably in the fifth wave. 1, 2. I wouldn't say that. Actually, we're in the third wave. Oops. Because, yeah, okay, so this makes more sense. Okay. If this is a 1 and a 2, this can't be a 3 because it's still within the same channel, and a 3 would need to impulse out of this channel, I imagine. Also, well, the 3 is 61.8% of it, or just a bit more than 1 to 1. And the 5 would be a bit lower. I'm gonna have to take a little closer look on these, but there's a good chance we might be getting up to a 3 before making our 4. Actually, you know, for now, that's my bias, is that there's room on this one to gain a higher 3 and then find a 4 within this channel, and then look for a 5 wherever that's going to be if it's making an impulse. Okay, that's it for me. The other possibility is that, you know, on a daily time frame, we see what it actually looks like, and in fact, we are seeing the 3 completing here, and we're moving into a 4 sooner than later. So we'll see. Okay. I'm going to just measure this move from low to high and compare it with this move from low to high. And we're nearly at 261.8. So I think, you know, I don't think this one's going to go longer than the end of January. I think at best, we're going to see this go to the end of January. And then I think we are ending this move with Luna to the upside and before correction. The next correction. Okay, cool. Actually, I'm glad I did that time analysis. Let's take a look. We're going to keep our eyes here until the end of January and see how Luna does. Maybe this is the turnaround here around this 261.8 where we are now. And maybe it goes further towards the end of January. Keep an eye out. That's it. You're going to have to come back each week if you want to know more. I'm going to stick around and continue doing these price chart videos. So I hope that it's enjoyable for you, entertaining, educational, and yeah, just take your time with it. Let me know if you have any feedback, post it in the comments, and thank you so much for being here. I wish you very well, wishing you all the love, peace, and happiness you can manage. Beautiful 2022 ahead, and I'll see you soon. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.